everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, and this is the first news video from my living room. So that's a bit weird, but look, we've got the portable green screen. You can't even tell the difference. It's gonna be fine. We have some wrestling news to talk about if we could all just calm down for a second. Here are the headlines. Yesterday, WWE's Twitter account was hacked, and now a possible suspect has been revealed. Next up, WWE are monitoring the health of one superstar in particular. And finally, have WWE found a new date for the Hall of Fame? We'll discuss all that and more in just a little while. So I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but WWE's Twitter account seemed to be hacked, which is strange when it's WWE, a massive company, and not an individual wrestler. We often see wrestlers get hacked, usually after they've tweeted something really stupid and then say, "Oh, I was hacked, I didn't mean it." No, but it seems as though yesterday WWE's official Twitter account was indeed hacked. It had everything changed. The header became just plain white. The profile picture was a black circle. The bio became something like expose with a couple of little dashes in. It was very strange. In fact, to be precise, the bio was expose, full stop, watching. And also the account tweeted in mysterious backwards upside down font that I could never do as a cool teenager, "The truth will be heard." And I wish I could have done that. I'd have been so cool if I could have done that font. And now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, it seems as though a prime suspect has been revealed, but there's no way of actually telling if they actually did it. But surprise, surprise, it could have been Matt Hardy, because he also tweeted out exactly the same thing yesterday: "The truth will be heard." So there's obviously two possibilities here that I can see. One, it was actually Matt Hardy and somehow he actually had access to WWE's official Twitter account, which I guess is a possibility. You know, we could see the Twitter account being shared about by wrestlers and maybe the password wasn't updated very regularly or something. You never know. Or number two, he saw this going on and it's WWE doing another thing, trying to promote something else creepy, maybe something to do with The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, I don't know. And he thought, I'll have a bit of that. And he just tweeted it anyway. Just a bit of improv from Matt Hardy there to build hype for supposedly his debut in AEW. I'd be very shocked if he didn't turn up anywhere, if he didn't turn up in AEW and instead went somewhere else, but I guess it remains to be seen. Next up, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer is reporting that WWE are monitoring Roman Reigns for any signs of the ongoing pandemic, obviously because it affects elderly people and those with a compromised immune system, and Roman's past with leukemia unfortunately means that he is probably one of the people at risk. So at the moment it seems as though he's absolutely healthy and fine, which is great to see, but I think it is a very wise step from WWE to be continually monitoring the situation. And it's not just Roman Reigns who's been subject to these new measures. In a recent interview with Memphis Commercial Appeal, whatever that is, Jerry Lawler, because he's Memphis based, said that everybody is having their temperature taken upon arrival at the Performance Center. Again, probably a good move given the fact that, yes, even though these shows at the Performance Center do have a very limited audience of just essential crew members and stuff, it is still a group of people gathering together. So I do understand why it's an important thing for everybody to at least have their temperature taken upon arrival at the building. At least it's something. And also, just want to touch upon a little bit of brighter news actually. An aspect of this week's Raw from the Performance Center, which you might have seen, which had a bit of a surprising reason for existence, if that makes sense. So if you watch Raw, you'll have seen that Becky Lynch arrived to the arena in a customized truck, which was a bit strange because it was just an episode of Raw and it was like, why is Becky Lynch doing this? I guess you could say it's because it's 3/16 day, it was March 16th, Austin was there, and turning up in a big comedically oversized and customized vehicle is quite a Stone Cold Steve Austin thing to do. And that may have been the new reason, but according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, that's not the original reason. Apparently this customized truck was to be used as part of Becky Lynch's entrance at WrestleMania. That sounds a lot more like it. And it's just a stark reminder really of what a great spectacle WrestleMania usually is and how that's going to be very different this year. It was also meant to be part of Access. I'm assuming fans could have pictures taken with the truck. Do not touch the truck though. Absolutely do not touch the truck. Let's stick with PW Insider for a moment because they are also reporting that tonight's NXT is going to be a little bit different from usual. Apparently they reached out to WWE, who said that NXT will be in a modified format featuring things like in-depth character breakdowns and never before seen content. Now, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer took to Twitter to say basically this means there's not going to be, this is a nice way to say there's not going to be any wrestling on this new episode, or no new wrestling on the episode. And to be honest, That's not too much of a surprise really, given the format that SmackDown and Raw took this week, with SmackDown having minimal new action, I guess, and Raw, of course, only featuring one new match, but showing the entirety of the Men's Royal Rumble. And I don't think it's really worth criticising NXT about this. Of course, everybody's health and safety is of paramount importance, and it's just, I suppose, nice to see that WWE are still making an effort at entertaining us, despite not actually being able to put on a fully fledged show as they usually would. Now let's talk about Tampa Bay's response to the news that WrestleMania will not be taking place in the Raymond James Stadium. So, the Tampa Bay Local Organising Committee have issued a full statement, and this is it pretty much word for word. They say, "Our community has waited 36 years to host WrestleMania, and while we are saddened that this unforeseen situation has led to today's announcement, this is totally the right call for the safety and security of everyone involved. A huge thank you to all of our local leaders and our friends at the WWE as we collectively work through the unprecedented fluidity of the last few weeks. The Team Tampa Bay-WWE partnership has never been stronger." And just to follow up on that, a statement from Raymond James Stadium, who have announced that refunds for all WrestleMania week events are available at all original points of purchase. If you purchase your tickets through Ticketmaster, you'll automatically be refunded in the next 30 days. If you purchase your tickets at the Realia Quest ticket office at Amalie Arena, I don't know, I'm British, refunds will be made available once the ticket office reopens. Currently, the ticket office is closed for safety reasons due to the current virus situation. So, I think that's the right call, basically, isn't it? You get refunded if you've bought WrestleMania tickets at the point of purchase, and just Tampa Bay sound absolutely heartbroken, and I don't blame them, to be honest. Now, let's talk about the Hall of Fame ceremony, which, of course, traditionally takes place over WrestleMania weekend, but obviously this year, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, a lot of people assumed that WrestleMania was going to be delayed, and a lot of people, including myself, were quite surprised when WrestleMania was instead just moved to a different venue, just moved to the Performance Center. But it seems as though the Hall of Fame is going to be delayed and potentially moved to a different date. That is, of course, if WWE get their way amidst all the uncertainty that's going on at the moment. So it seems as though, according to Georgia Smith, the daughter of Davey Boy Smith, of course, the British Bulldog, she was in contact with WWE, who said, right, we are planning to move the Hall of Fame to SummerSlam weekend. So assuming she's telling the truth, and I don't know why she wouldn't be, she reckons that the Hall of Fame will be, well, they're going to aim to have the Hall of Fame take place over SummerSlam weekend. And she did as well correctly point out that it would be very, very more fitting for her father's legacy, because of course Bulldog's biggest victory came at the 1992 SummerSlam in Wembley Stadium here in England. So hopefully, if things such as travel bans and restrictions of movement are lifted a little bit by the time SummerSlam rolls around, then hopefully that is when we'll see the Hall of Fame ceremony and presumably some wrestling with the crowd again. Of course, many people are confirmed already for this year's Hall of Fame by WWE, including British Bulldog, obviously, Batista, JBL, the Bella Twins, the NWO, and many more. Jushin Thunder Liger, of course, as well. How on earth could I forget him? Sorry, Sam. Now let's go to Impact Wrestling, because they've announced, unfortunately, the cancellation of an upcoming event, their TNA There's No Place Like Home event, which looked like it was going to have a bit of a retro feel. Obviously, it was back in Florida, one of the original places where TNA first thrived in the early to mid 2000s. This is just one of several cancellations that have been going on with various different wrestling promotions, and it is a shame to see. This one seems to be because it was in conjunction with WrestleCon, and all events regarding or linked to WrestleCon over WrestleMania weekend have unfortunately had to be cancelled. One of them being Impact. And I know that it's sad when a lot of smaller indie promotions have to cancel events over WrestleMania weekend, but it also kind of hammers home just how all-encompassing this situation is when you see the bigger promotions have to cancel events. Obviously, WWE have moved WrestleMania, Impact are cancelling their event. I think Ring of Honor have cancelled some upcoming events as well. And yeah, it's just really testing times for the wrestling industry as a whole, both for promotions big and small. So hopefully, as my colleague Tom Campbell has been saying, we can all band together and support wrestling going forwards. And finally, let's go to the other side of the divide and talk about AEW. Of course, recently Tony Khan said that if a wrestler doesn't feel comfortable traveling or feels ill or just doesn't want to risk their health at all, then they don't need to attend the shows, and that they won't risk their push or their place on the roster if they do so. And everybody went, that's brilliant, that's really good from Tony Khan. And then we all stopped for a bit and thought, God, that says a lot about the wrestling industry, that we're so happy about someone just being a decent human being. Well, it seems as though one AEW wrestler has taken that advice to heart, because this week, Markos Stunt revealed that he is not going to be on this week's Dynamite, which is a wise move because he said he's feeling under the weather, and while that doesn't necessarily mean there are any symptoms, it of course means that he should probably stay away from general contact with the rest of his workmates. So I guess that's a wise move from Markos Stunt. It's great to know that his push won't be at risk because he's decided to stay away. Good decision from Tony Khan there, definitely. And yeah, I guess we'll see what Dynamite's like. I will still be doing Dynamite Graded. We'll still be covering content about Raw and SmackDown and all the things you're used to here on Cultaholic. So, thank you very much for watching. This has, of course, been the news, and I'll see you with more news tomorrow. Cheers.